Greetings and God bless. I have noticed something, and it was something in myself, and I see this now in other progressive New Age liberals. Is this um, absolute aversion to Christianity and Jesus? And the thing is, though, a New Age progressive liberal will be respectful of every other culture. So if somebody is Hindu and worships Lord Krishna or Ganesh or a deva, or this the same progressive New Age liberal, if they meet a Native American and the Native American talks about you know, their creator or coyote or whoever, um, or if that same New Age progressive liberal meets somebody who's from China and they worship their ancestors and or whatever, Latin America or Africa, and their cultures where they have a lot of gods, or whatever. So a progressive liberal will be like, yeah, and maybe even get into it. There's plenty of New Age people who get into Native American belief systems, or Hinduism or whatever. If they're into yoga or if they're into dream catchers or whatever. I mean, and so, like, the progressive liberal, the new ager will totally 100% support somebody if they are from a traditional culture and they're Aztecs worshiping Aztec stuff now. That's like in some high school they wanted everybody to be doing this Aztec thing, and it was like this to this god that human sacrifice was commonly done, and people are like, yeah, let's do it. I mean, this is the mindset, this is the logic that we have, that's taking care of things. And you know what, it is by the grace of God that we still have our comforts, because absolutely insane people are literally in charge. Um and we really should be in, like, there should be smoke rising and no electricity, no water or whatever, like with the mindset of the insane people that are in charge of things. But no, we are being so um taken care of by God, because things are kind of normal, even though there's insane people in charge. Like, somehow God is just taking care of things, and He is so generous. But back to what I'm talking about. So I just find it a very interesting thing that, so the new age progressive liberal will be open to every other god, every other religion. Pedophilia, sure, yeah, let's, you know, but the one thing that the new age progressive liberal absolutely cannot abide is Jesus. Very interesting. Very interesting. Because we have a million other religions, other moralities, like fundamental violation of human rights. That's fine for the new age progressive liberal. Okay. You know, you got to kill babies at 7 days old. Satanist, okay. We, well, who are we to say? But the one thing that the new age progressive liberal cannot abide is somebody who believes in Jesus, is Jesus himself. And of course I'm speaking in broad terms. However, this is a trend. Very intelligent people I know, um, they will they're at their peril. They're going to accept everything but Jesus. And I mean, like, I'm not saying, oh, a progressive, a new age liberal should just drop everything and believe in Jesus. No, the thing is, the reason why a new ager respected Buddhism or Hinduism or Santeria or whatever is because they looked into it. They looked into it with an open mind and they saw the value of it, like feng shui, yoga, right? Really cool stuff. And I just find it statistically significant, quantifiable phenomenon that Jesus is the one thing that everybody cannot even begin to explore. There's very tenacious thinking people who can do data analysis, breakdown of, high level finances and minutia, but they refuse to click on a video about Jesus. They refuse to have the most kindergarten, simple, uh, introductory thing about Jesus. So they these are people who can, read 800 reams of super boring stuff, but nothing about Jesus. And when the situation is quite like that, like when we see this, folks, this is there's something behind it. This is not just something that happens. I feel like this is proof of some type of like deliberate conspiracy and a supernatural thing. Because how can so many people that don't know each other have this uh, systemic knee-jerk reaction like this? Like normally raping a child is, any decent human being should be against that. And that is being people are being groomed to accept that's what the globalists want, and that's the new poster child of progressive, of being progressive. So we have that, and people are actually like giving that a try, but they will do that over. They will prefer that, like jeopardizing their children and their grandchildren to something heinous, over considering Jesus. Jesus came to set the captives free. God came to set the captives free. When the Hebrews were leaving Egypt, what did the Pharaoh say to Moses? He said, "Leave your children." We are in Egypt, folks, and the Pharaoh wants the children for the worst possible reasons. And somehow parents and grandparents are just going along with it. So, I mean, I think if people must be hypnotized, or, some sort of weird invasion of the body snatchers occurred, and the real people with real common sense have been abducted or something like that, because I just don't understand how people are so comfortable and compliant, complicit. And yes, I know people are busy. I know people have other things, but uh, if I was a parent or a grandparent, like I would try to figure out some way to protect the children, and I would be really active in like making sure nobody touched the children. And like here in Rapid, um, in the school system, there is deep in some sort of document where there's a sentence where the Rapid City School can do an invasive body uh, inspection of a child without a parent's consent. So if somebody if and I just saw a meme yesterday, that the majority of child abuse happens in public schools. So it seems like public schools are the new Vatican, like where priests molested children. It seems like now the school is the new molestation station. you know. And people still like, they still kind of, they think everything's fine. And I guess people are just, parents are just like, I'm just going to insulate myself. I'm going to live in a gated community. I'm just going to escape to some remote area, or I'm just going to have enough money, make enough money. I'm going to comply with the mafia just so I have enough money, and I'm just going to protect my little plot of land. I guess that's what some people are doing. Yes, there's some activists. There's, maybe, I don't know, maybe 100 per liberty-minded city, maybe more. But there really should be more. I mean, people should just, if yeah. So, anyways, this is my little rambling. I just think it's really hypocritical when a new ager will be open to everything: human sacrifice, child rape. Okay, that's just what you do. Killing babies, that's what Satanists do. Okay. But so the new ager, the progressive liberal will be like, yeah, that's, well, we got to just accept it because that's what they do. But the one thing that a liberal cannot abide, the one thing a new ager cannot abide is Jesus. And I just want to point out, if that's you, you really need to look into Jesus, because that there's something there. There's something there, and you're probably wrong. Because if murder and child rape is acceptable, uh, you need to look at what's that one thing that's not acceptable. Because if it's just one thing that's not acceptable, like that and gluten, like no Jesus, no gluten, you know, no, Jesus is evil and animal products are evil. I think you need to do some uh, serious investigation into your values and the fabric of reality. And I would recommend, listening to some Bible studies and learn who your leaders really are. And they're globalist Luciferians. They worship Satan and they're a Babylonian cult. And it seems like they're taking over. And unfortunately, there's ignorant people and there's cowardly people. And yeah, how much longer are we gonna last? Is my question. I mean, I believe in the rapture, and I've been hoping it would happen much sooner. I was hoping it would happen a couple of years ago, maybe 3 years ago. But God is giving everybody a chance to get to choose Jesus. So, what do you think? Do you notice that New Agers will accept other people's gods, Lord Krishna or Coyote God, human sacrifice, child rape, because that's what Satanists, that's their religion? Do you notice that's the New Age liberal um, value system? But that those same people will never ever consider Jesus at all, 100%. Like that's where their morality starts. It's like everything else is fine, but Jesus is the worst thing in the world. And if only those people knew what they don't like about Jesus is actually what they don't like about Satan. Because Satan impersonates Jesus. Satan is the ruler of earth. Satan is why really bad things happen. God lets certain things happen because people need to cry out. Sometimes people need circumstances that make them cry out to God. That those foxhole prayers that everybody talks about. Like God's trying to reach out to people. God's trying to save people. And sometimes absolutely horrific situations helps people save their souls. But all the evil things, all the bad things are Satan's plan. Satan enjoys causing misery, suffering, destruction, and death, violent death. So, anyways, if the New Agers only knew Like, so they think that that Jesus is a punishing God, or they think God is a punishing God, and so they're like, well, this punishing God is bad, and that makes sense. Yeah, you're right. A punishing God is bad. Just somebody who just wants to cause you pain and suffering and have you grovel and do penance. That is a bad God, and that's Satan. So the the New Agers that hate that kind of God, you're right. But the thing is, there's been an imposter, like, because Satan is that God who wants people to grovel and suffer. Jesus came to set the captives free. His burden, Jesus's burden is light, and his yoke is easy. His burden is light, and his yoke is easy. That is not somebody who wants you to grovel. He came to set the captives free. It means he doesn't want you to be a slave. He wants you to be a slave to him. And what would that be? What is being a slave to Jesus? His burden is light, and his yoke is easy. So he wants you to have a light burden. He wants you to have an easy yoke. He wants the slavery to be easy and light. So, and what that means is he wants you to be probably a good person. He wants you to love people. And you know what? Sometimes that is a burden, right? But it's not the worst burden in the world. And the thing is, when you can't love people or when you can't do good things, you get to say, God, please help me. I can't do it. I'm not feeling loving. I need to repent. I'm not feeling repentant. Help me repent. Help me feel more loving. Help me have more faith. We do all things through God. So he's there to help you when you can't do it. And when you can't do it, just be honest, be like, God, I can't do it. Help me. You know? Because that's what he's there for. He's there for you at every moment. He's there for you at just in the littlest things, because this is a challenging existence, because Satan rules this world and God's there to help us. So we need to ask for help, but we first need to know who it is that who will help us, who's the helper. So uh so I don't blame New Agers and progressive liberals for hating Jesus, because I was totally clueless too. But I do blame folks when they absolutely refuse, to explore this one religion, explore this one person, Jesus, when they're so well informed about Hinduism and Buddhism and Santeria and Chinese, culture, feng shui, whatever. Like, you really have to, if you're a real liberal in the deepest classic sense of the word, you need to know about Christianity. You really need to know about it without judgmentalness, because I listen to a lot of books on tape, teaching company, great courses, and there are these really vitriolic anti-Christian people who are teaching the Bible, and they like despise Jesus. They're like hardcore. I think they're Satanists or something like that. Because why? Why would you spend so much time knowing the Bible and hating the main character? Like, just that just seems so it's really twisted. So, anyways, I recommend, if you're new to Jesus and the Bible, I recommend um, gravitating towards people who actually believe that it's to be true, because when you're learning about Hinduism or Buddhism, those are people who believe in Hinduism and Buddhism. You're not reading, you don't get into Hinduism or Buddhism reading a skeptic's uh, take on it, right? So why then are so many people listening to skeptics about Christianity? Now the thing is, just like some people are writing about, or you know claiming to be an expert about Buddhism or Hinduism or whatever, and they don't know enough, or they know enough to sound um, like they know what they're talking about, but they don't really. And that goes for Christians, and learning about Christianity, is that there's a lot of Christians. I think there's a majority of them that don't really understand Jesus or salvation. So that is a bit of a challenge, but I would pray. I think the King James version of the Bible is a good starting point, and Bible studies online in the King James version of the Bible, I think that will, for the most part, protect you. And there's nuances um, and things that God is going to reveal to you. So, anyways, thanks for watching, and let me know what you think. Do I have a point that if you're a real classic liberal, that if you're open to all these other religions, like, shouldn't you consider Jesus and Christianity with an open mind as well? So, thank you for listening. God bless.